Welcome to today's session. We are going to learn about capital structure. So, as you already know, since you already this capital budgeting has been taught to you earlier. So, uh, in financial management, we talk about three kinds of financial decisions. Can anyone tell me what are these three kinds of financial decisions we are talking about? Can anyone tell me quickly? Have you heard of it or not? Please quickly tell me. Please unmute yourself and please keep on telling me. Otherwise, unless you give me feedback, how can I know?
No, sir.
You don't know. Well, let me then begin something like this. So, in business, we take various decisions, and you already know that management is about taking various decisions. So, we take decisions. Why we take decisions? Because this is how we can run the business. We talk about the business. There can be are you able to see? There can be financial decisions and non-financial decisions. Non-financial decisions can be many. Okay, many decisions may be there. Let us say HR decision, research and development decisions, marketing decisions. But if coming to financial decision, we'll be talking about three kinds of decisions. That is investment decision, or you can say investing decision. Then financing decision. Then dividend decisions. Have you heard of this or not?
Yes, sir.
So when you have learned capital budgeting, that means you have already learned about investment decision, how to take decision as regards to investment, where to make investment. Is it done? So various techniques you must have learned, NPV, IRR, payback method, all these things. All these techniques will help you to take investment decisions. So in any business, we need to make some investment. Now, if you are saying we have to make some investment, then one more thing which is relevant here is that where from we get money? Where to get money from? We need some money to do business. Yes or no? We need money or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when we do see the position of the business, if I show you in the balance sheet format, you see in this side, you write all these assets, maybe non-current assets, current assets. All these are the areas where funds has been applied for. That means these are your investment decisions. Right? And to make these investments, you need some money. So money comes from this side. This is, you can say, this is your source. Source may come from two places. One might be equity, or it can be liability. Are you getting? Equity means equity shares. Liability means any debt. So these are the source. We collect money from these places, and this is the application. We invest money. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So broadly, there are two sources. One is debt and equity. So we collect money from these two sources. And we create a good combination of these sources. This may be 60, this may be 40, this may be 50, this may be 50, or this may be 20, maybe 80. So different combinations are possible. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when we create a combination of this thing, this combination we call it as the structure. We are creating a capital structure like this. Right? And money will come from this structure, and that money will be used for executing our investment decisions. Did you got some basic idea now about capital structure?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, friends, now let us see this thing. Yeah. Have you ever Can you find out what is this in the picture? Can anyone guess what we are saying? Are you able
Sir,
to
no
see?
slide has been, no, nothing.
Okay. Once again, I am trying to share it. Yeah, are you able to see a picture now?
Yes, sir.
Can you see it? Yeah. Can you guess what is this? What I'm showing you?
For some chat like something.
Yeah, some chart like it's a mixture kind of thing. Ah, can you guess how many components will be there? Yeah. 5, 6, 10,
Sir, almost 7 to 8 components.
almost 7 to 8 components. So when you ask a, let us say, chart seller or a mixture seller on the roadside, and if you ask what is the price of this, he may ask you 5 rupees, 10 rupees, like this he say. Is it not? Yes or no? He'll be telling
Yes,
you
sir.
that, okay, one packet will cost you 5 rupees or 10 rupees, like that he say. And you pay him 10 rupees and he will give you a small packet. And you'll find so many things are there. And he creates a mixture of all this thing. Is it not? And if you say that add something extra, let us say you ask a little extra this thing, groundnut, he will put it, a little extra namkeen, he will put it, or extra tomato, dhania pata, that also he will put it there. Is it not? And he will create a combination. You see, and he is creating a combination in such a way that he is fully aware that he will be able to sell that packet, let us say 10 rupees. And he will design that structure in such a way that the entire cost should be less than 10 rupees or more than 10 rupees.
Less than
Less than 10 rupees. Okay. For you, you are paying 10 rupees. Why you are paying 10 rupees? Because you will be getting satisfaction worth 10 rupees. Okay. For him, he knows that he will be able to sell it at 10 rupees and he has to design the cost in such a way that it should be within 10 rupees. Let us say 8 rupees, 7 rupees. Then only he will feel that in every packet, when he's selling every packet, he will be getting a profit margin of, let us say, 2 rupees. Let us say he's selling at 8 rupees, cost selling is at 10 rupees, cost is 8 rupees, so margin is 2 rupees. Is it not? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So when he's selling one packet, then he's maximizing his wealth to the extent of 2 rupees. Let us say first packet he sold, he created a wealth of 2 rupees. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
When he sold the second packet, then further 2 rupees. Third packet, further 2 rupees. This is how he tries to maximize his wealth. Okay. And this is how the value of his business also keeps on increasing. Okay. For you, cost might be 10 rupees. For him, sales price is 10 rupees. But if you analyze the value of that packet, for him, the value is 2 rupees. Why 2 rupees is the value? Because 10 rupees will sell. 8 rupees is the cost. And he will be able to maximize his wealth by 2 rupees. So value of that packet for him is 2 rupees. Did you understand the concept of value now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this value is relevant because capital structure is highly related to value. We'll be learning that concept after some time. Now you see, while deciding that structure, very cleverly or very, let's say, thoughtfully, he designed, or he is always in his mind that in which proportion he has to create the combination, how he is going to create the combination, and how much of what item he has to mix. He is fully aware of. Is it not? And he is knowing that if I change that structure, if they change the proportion, there is a possibility that cost may go beyond 10 rupees also. Yes or no? If slightly he change the proportion, there is every possibility that cost may go beyond 10 rupees. You are agreeing to it or not? Definitely cost will go beyond 10 rupees. So therefore it is important for him to manage that structure, manage the proportion in such a way that overall cost will be within 10 rupees. And how he is going to manage it? He should know, first of all, the cost of each component. Okay. Then he should also know that how much of that component he has to mix. Okay, let us say totally he has to deliver 10 grams or 100 grams. Let us say 10 grams of this item. Let us say 5 grams of that item, 1 gram of some other item. Like that, he decides. And he creates a structure. In this structure, he is going to deliver. In case, by any chance, let us say he is adding little more of some item. In some other item, he will adjust that cost. He'll reduce the quantity of some other item. This is how he manages. And exactly in the same way, when you do a business, we know that we have two broad sources of money. One is debt, other is equity. Okay, and there might be many components of that. Maybe several types of debts are possible. And also forms of equity capital may be different. And businessman knows he has to create a combination of this capital. He has to create a capital structure in such a way that the value of the business can be maximized. Okay, are you getting?
Yes, sir.
And coming to this structure and how he can do that, first of all, he should know what is the cost of each component. Let us say what is the cost of debt, what is the cost of equity, he should know. And he should also decide in which proportion he has to create the capital mix. In which ratio, what is the debt equity ratio he should maintain, he should know. Then only he will be able to decide how much value addition is possible. Okay, so this is the concept, and that is the reason why you are learning this chapter, capital structure. This will help us to plan. If you know the capital structure uh, concepts, it will help us maximizing the value of the business. Okay. Now, as I told you right now, so there are two broad components. One is, can you read it here?
Equity and debt.
Equity and debt. And you know, or you will be knowing shortly. For the business, debt is always less costly, but there is risk in it. There is more risk here. Whereas equity is more costly, but risk is less. So this concept also we have to understand. We'll be learning cost of capital subsequently, but right now you see why debt is risky. Debt is risky because whether you earn profit or you do not earn profit, that doesn't matter. But you have to meet the obligations. Debt obligation has to pay. That means you have to repay your loan and you have to pay interest. Is it not? Even if you are not earning, even if you're not earning enough profit, still you have to pay your interest. You have to repay your debt. But whereas if you're taking equity, let us say you have arranged finance in the form of equity, what happens here? Equity, let us say equity participants are the people who have contributed in the form of equity. They become the owner of the business. So they will get money, they'll get return only when there is profit. If there is loss, then they may not expect anything. Okay. So when the business is taking debt or arranging capital through debt, he's taking more risk and he is taking more obligation. Whereas in case of equity, risk is relatively less. Okay. But equity shareholders also expect something from the business. Their expectations are more. Why expectations are more? Because they are taking more risk. They are giving money to you and they don't know whether you will be earning profit or incurring losses. Still they give some business and they know if there will be losses, they will not get anything. If there is profit, they will get something. So they take more risk. When they're taking more risk, they expect more. So cost of equity is more. Just have this point in your mind. Cost of equity is more. Cost of debt is less. But when you go for equity, your risk is less. And when you go for debt, your risk is more. Okay, did you understand this thing?
Yes, sir.
Now, let us understand the concept of capital structure first of all. When we talk about capital structure, it refers to combination of capital in the business. And you know, broadly, there are two sources. One is debt and equity. So when we are here talking about the combination of debt and equity, this decision, that is capital structure decision, involves deciding the forms of finance. We need money to do business. We need various sources of finance. In which forms we are trying to arrange finance. That decision is about decision of capital structure. So when we talk about capital structure, it involves decisions about the forms of finance. And here, when we talk about the capital, it doesn't mean that equity capital. It also includes debt finance and other forms of borrowings also. And this capital structure reflects the way a company or a corporation finances itself. How he is arranging finance, that is described in the capital structure. So that finance may happen in many forms. It may be equity, it may be debt, or it may be hybrid security. Hybrid security means partly equity, partly debt. For example, let us say convertible. Initially, it may be a debt instrument. Okay, initially it may be bond. Later on, it can be converted into equity. Then it's a convertible. So partly it is debt, partly it is equity. Those kind of securities can be referred to as hybrid securities. And a firm's capital structure is the composition of the structure of its equities and long-term liabilities. When we talk about the capital structure, we are talking about the composition of its equity and long-term liabilities. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Why this capital structure is important? Because the finance manager tries to choose a capital structure which will minimize the cost and maximize owner's return. Just now in our example we are discussing that that mixer wala example we are taking, he will always try to reduce cost and maximize the return. Okay, right. So we'll design the capital structure in such a way that the cost is minimized so that return can be maximized. Okay, and each component has got cost. Let us say equity has got a cost. Assume that equity cost is 22%. Debt cost is, let us say, 15%. So you have to create a structure. You have to create a mixture in such a way that the overall cost is minimum. How much of debt you will be using, how much of equity you will be using, so that the total cost is minimum. That you have to decide. And that decision is about capital structure planning. Okay, it is important since a company might like to minimize the cost of capital in order to maximize wealth. If you want to maximize your wealth, then you have to minimize your cost. Right? So cost minimization will be helping us to maximize wealth. That's why we need to understand various aspects of capital structure planning. And the ability of an organization to perform well in the market depends upon efficiency of the capital structure. If capital structure is efficient, then company can perform well in the market because overall cost is less, profitability will be more, margin is more, so performance will be better. That's why capital structure is important. And this, the photograph you are saying, that is Mr. J.C. Barnhardt's photograph, and this is how he has described about capital structure. He's saying, what is capital structure? On that he's saying, the mix of firms' permanent long-term financing represented by debt, preferred stock, and common stock equity. That means it's a combination of equity share capital, preference share capital, and debt. All this, you see, long-term sources of capital forms a part of capital structure. Did you understand this? Now you must be having some idea about the components of capital structure. Did you understand this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, at this stage, now we'll be understanding various types of capital structure. And 4 types of capital structure are there, or we classify the capital structure in 4 categories. First is, can you read it? What is here?
Horizontal.
First is about horizontal capital structure. When you talk about horizontal structure, as you can see, it is an all equity farm, or you can say zero debt farm. That means company or the farm has no debt, only equity. It does business only with equity. And you know, equity is little costly. See that? Equity is costly. So farm is doing business with a costly source. So expansion takes place through equity or retained earning. Retained earning means the reserve part. Reserve capital is also forms a part of capital, forms a part of equity. So if you have seen the company's financial statement, you can find out reserves are included in equity. So when you talk about the horizontal capital structure, what does it mean? Only equity is capital. Okay, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, next structure is about vertical capital structure. Vertical structure, as you can see the small portion of equity. Then preference capital is there, debt is there. Small amount of equity which serves as a foundation on which the superstructure, that is preference capital or debt, is built. Let us say equity is 1 lakh, but preference capital is 3 lakh, debt is 3 lakh. So total is 7 lakh. Total 7 lakh, farm is doing business with 7 lakh capital, but equity is only 1 lakh. Preference capital is 3 lakh, debt is 3 lakh. If this is the structure, we'll be calling this structure as vertical structure. Again, I repeat, small amount of equity which serves as the foundation on which the superstructure, preference capital or debt is built. If farms need some incremental capital, additional capital, then incremental or additional capital is collected through debt. Okay, addition is almost entirely from debt. The quantum of retained earning is low. Retained earning means reserve. Reserve is also a part of this equity. The share of reserve is also low. Dividend payout is very high. Dividend payout means per share how much dividend company is paying. It will be very high because the entire profit will be distributed to the equity shareholders, and equity size is less. That means very less number of equity shareholders will be there. So per share return will be high. Did you understand this? So equity payout will be high because number of shareholders are less, and number of equity shares are also less. Financial risk is also high. Why financial risk is high? You see, when you take a debt, you got a fixed obligation. As I told you earlier, whether you earn profit or you do not earn profit, you have to pay interest. You have to repay the capital also, repay the loan amount. So your obligation is fixed. So that risk is always with you. So you take that risk when you use this kind of capital structure. And because of lesser component of equity capital, it is vulnerable to hostile takeovers. Hostile takeover means unfriendly takeover. Some company may acquire this company also because equity size is very less. So if they buy these equity shares or substantially buy these equity shares, let us say if the shares are traded in the market, more than 50% of the shares they acquire, then they will be controlling the company. They'll be taking over the company. So these kind of hostile takeovers are possible if the capital structure is horizontal. Did you understand these two structures?
Yes, sir. So can you please explain again the horizontal structure?
Horizontal structure means a very simple structure. It is all equity farm. There is no debt here, right? Business is the source of finance of the business is only equity.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
And vertical means small equity and debt. Debt may include preference capital and other forms of debt. So debt and preference capital is more, but equity is less. Okay. The third kind of capital structure that we are going to learn is about pyramid-shaped capital structure. As you can see in this picture, equity is more, retained earning is little less than that, and debt is little less. So the large portion consisting of equity or retained earning forms a part of capital. Okay, debt is very less. If you see the capital structure, largely it is dominated by equity. Debt is very, very less. Okay, so Risk is consequently very low. Risk is low because debt always brings more risk. And since debt is less, risk is also less. So this is also good structure, very stable structure. Then the fourth kind of capital structure is about reverse pyramid set. As you can see in the picture here, equity is less, retained earning is little more, debt is much more. So you can find the structure like this: small component of equity, a reasonable level of retained earning, but debt component is more. All increases in the capital structure in the recent past have been made through debt. That means if the company is expanding, company is trying for more capital, company is doing it through debt, it is highly vulnerable to collapse. Anytime the capital structure may collapse, suppose by any chance company is unable to pay the debt obligations, then business will suffer. So this is the kind of risk you are taking in this kind of capital structure. So four kind of capital structure I think you have understood: horizontal structure, vertical structure, pyramid structure, and reverse pyramid structure. Reverse pyramid shape structure. Did you understand this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, friends, we'll understand about significance of capital structure. So these are few points. These are few points we need to understand about significance of capital structure. Capital structure reflects farm strategy. So by seeing, or you can say, if the farm is planning for future growth, faster growth, accordingly will design his capital structure. Capital structure is highly related to the growth of the farm. We have already seen, I have given you example how capital structure, by managing capital structure, you'll be able to maximize the value. And the ultimate objective of the farm is to maximize the value of the farm. So strategically, one can design capital structure in such a way that the value can be maximized at the earliest. Value can be maximized if the cost of capital can be low. So therefore, capital structure plays a very important role in, let us say, designing or creating strategy for maximizing growth of the firm. This capital structure is also an indicator of risk profile of the firm. As you know, more debt means more fixed cost, more risk. Debt more means risk is. So by looking at the capital structure, one can understand what is the risk profile of the firm. If debt is more, the firm is taking more risk. Capital structure also acts as a tax management tool. As you know, we collect money, or the business houses collect money from two sources, debt and equity. And when they pay interest to the debt holders, interest is treated as an expenditure. In financial accounting, interest is an expenditure. Consequently, it is deductible from tax point of view. That means to arrive at the profit, you have to deduct interest. So consequently, the profit is net of interest. And if you are paying more interest, your profit will be less. When profit will be less, you will be paying less tax. But on the other hand, if you are paying, let us say, dividend to your equity shareholders, as you know, debt holders will be receiving interest. Equity shareholders will receive dividend. But when you pay dividend to the shareholders, then what is this? This is not an expenditure. This is a reward to the owners of the company. So the dividend is not an expenditure in financial accounting or for tax purposes. Also. Dividend is not an expenditure. This is the distribution of profit. Consequently, dividend is not deducted to arrive at the profit. Therefore, dividend is not tax deductible. Okay. Suppose you are paying 100 rupees interest, your profit will be less by 100%, 100 rupees. But if you are paying 100 rupees dividend, your profit will not be less. Consequently, if the profit is high, you will pay more tax. Is it not? So by changing the capital structure, you can also change your tax liability. If more debt, you will be paying less tax. So the capital structure also helps as a tax management tool. Capital structure also helps to brighten the image of the firm. By seeing the capital structure, one can understand what is the size of equity, what is the size of retained earning, and what is the size of debt. By seeing that, it will be very easy for a person to understand the position of the company, position of the organization can be understood. Right. So if the entity is having good amount of equity and retained earning, then naturally it will show a good image that entity is quite stable. Long-term solvency of profitability is sustained through capital structure. So capital structure helps in improving profitability.
So if your voice is inaudible.
Is it not audible for all? Just a minute.
Okay, now it's audible.
Now it's audible? Okay, right. Now you see. Sometimes it may happen due to poor connectivity. Yeah. So now please, what we are discussing we are discussing about significance of capital structure. So capital structure affects the long-term solvency and profitability of the business. So capital structure helps in improving profitability. How it helps? Because it can reduce the cost, and the long-term solvency depends upon your debt and equity combination. If the companies or the entity is having proper capital structure, then it will not become insolvent. In long term, it will be able to be solvent. Okay, so on the other hand, let us say capital structure is designed such a way that it is dominated by more debt, and sufficient cash flow is not there to service those debts. Then there is a possibility that long-term solvency aspect is getting affected. Therefore, capital structure is related to long-term solvency. Capital structure also helps in overall ranking of the firm in the industry. In the industry, let us say various firms are there. So one can compare the capital structure. One can understand which company or which entity is having good capital structure. One can compare its equity and debt composition, debt combinations. Right. By seeing that also, one can able to compute what will be the cost of capital of various firms. So that inter-firm comparison is possible. So these are various aspects of significance of capital structure we have discussed now. Here there is one more concept we need to understand. This is about the concept of differentiating between capital structure and financial structure. When we talk about the financial structure, it refers to all components of the finance in the organization. All components. It consists of all assets, all liabilities, and capital. Entire thing in the entire all aspects of the balance sheet refers to the financial structure. Okay. When we talk about the capital structure, we are referring to all long-term sources. So the capital structure is, in fact, a part of the financial structure. So when we talk about the financial structure, it includes long-term sources as well as short-term sources. But capital structure includes only long-term sources. Equity is a long-term source. Other financial instruments, which are long-term sources, are also included as a part of capital structure. Okay, capital structure includes debentures, long-term debt, preferred share capital, equity share capital, retained earning. Capital structure of the company is that part of financial structure that reflects long-term sources of capital. So capital structure is only long-term sources. Financial structure includes. Okay, and capital structure relates to long-term capital deployment for creation of long-term assets. So when you do business, you see, we create long-term assets. Let us say we purchase plant, we buy land, we construct buildings. These are long-term assets. And to finance these long-term assets, we need some long-term sources. We cannot finance long-term assets through short-term sources. So long-term sources are the part of my capital structure. Okay. Okay, again I repeat, financial structure involves creation of both long-term and short-term assets, but capital structure involves only creation of long-term assets. Capital structure is the core element of the financial structure. Capital structure can exist without current liabilities. Okay. Suppose imagine an entity where there is no current liability. Current liability means at this time to understand it's short-term liability. If current short-term liability is not there, that means entire structure is financial structure itself. That means financial structure, capital structure is same. Capital structure is the core element of financial structure, and capital structure can exist without current liabilities. And in such case, capital structure shall be equal to financial structure. Okay, that means when there is no short-term source, that capital structure and financial structure they're same. Okay, but we cannot have a situation where farm has only current liabilities and no long-term capital. It's possible that the farm can have only long-term sources. It can do business without any short-term sources, only long-term sources. But it is not possible to do business only through short-term sources. Some long-term sources are required to do a business. Components of the capital structure may be used to build up the level of current assets, but the current liabilities should not be used to finance the acquisition of fixed assets. Here the concept is that you can use long-term sources to finance short-term assets. Okay, that is current asset. But you should not do reverse. That means you should not use short-term sources to finance long-term assets. Okay, therefore, current liabilities should not be used to acquire fixed assets or non-current assets. Okay, if that thing happens, this concept we call it as the asset liability mismatch. That means we are finding some long-term assets are financed through short-term sources. The business is at a risk. Okay. You see, this is the balance sheet of a company I'm showing you. If you look at here, you see here in the top portion of the balance sheet, assets are there, and in the bottom portion, you can see liabilities are there. Liabilities and equities are there. This part, if you see equity and non-current liabilities, this part, this can be referred to as capital structure because these are long-term sources, right? And the entire thing, if you see this part, that is long-term plus current liabilities. These are referred to as your financial structure because this talks about long-term as well as short-term sources. Now you can see company has non-current assets, that is fixed assets. You can call it loosely fixed asset that in fact technically long non-current assets and current assets. Okay, are you seeing it here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now concept here is that this non-current assets should always be financed through long-term sources. So this portion of the asset should be financed through capital structure. So capital structure is a must. But if these are financed through these short-term sources, that is current liability, that means business is taking more risk. Okay. It's possible that
So,
you
sir,
are
please
having.
explain it again. Can you explain it again?
Okay, again,
That,
you see, are you able to see the balance sheet now? Any balance
yes,
sheet?
sir. Yes, sir.
This is the vertical form of the balance sheet. So these are the assets. Assets includes non-current assets as well as current assets. Right. So for our understanding, we'll say long-term assets, non-current assets means long-term assets. You see plant, machinery, etc. Property, plant and equipments, all these are long-term assets. Okay, short-term assets or current assets means trade receivables, etc. So these are the areas where money needs to be applied. And this is the source. Source are from two forms, either equity or liabilities. Okay, you see this part is equity. Is it visible to you? And this is liability.
Yes, sir.
This is liability. Liability again has got two parts, non-current and current. Current means short term. Within operating cycle, it is recoverable. It is payable. Let us say borrowings, trade payables, it is a short term. And here you see, when you talk about the current assets, so these are the assets which can be liquidated within operating cycle. That means in the short term. So now point here is that when you talk about capital structure, as I told you, capital structure means long-term sources. So this part can be referred to as capital structure of the firm. Okay. That means equity,
Yes, sir.
equity plus non-current liabilities. And what is financial structure? The entire thing is my financial structure. That is equity, non-current liabilities as well as current liabilities. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, friends, please understand what we are trying to insist upon here is that it's possible that you can do business without this part, without current liabilities. You can do business. Okay, but this part is essential. That means capital structure is important. Some long-term sources are important. Why long-term sources are important? Because you have some investment in long-term assets or non-current assets. These non-current assets should always finance through capital structure. Okay, this non-current asset should always finance through capital structure. But these current assets, you can finance through current liabilities or through financial structure. It's possible. So this should match. Okay, this part, non-current assets should match with capital structure. If it is not there, let's say non-current assets are there, but you don't have capital structure. You have only current liabilities. Okay, you don't. Then that case, what will happen? Then business is taking risk. Non-current assets are financed through current liabilities. Business is taking a risk. Business may collapse at any point of time because current liabilities are repayable at any point of time. Okay, and business may not be able to pay back. It will affect the solvency. Business may become insolvent. Did you understand the importance of capital structure now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so you see, after this, what we have learned, the topic is theoretical. So you need to understand the bullet points that we are discussing. And if you have understood this particular example, I think you'll be having clarity that why capital structure is important, why we are learning this subject. And ultimately, you know, this capital structure will have impact on increasing value of the firm. Now, friends, we'll see and it will try to understand that there are various factors that influence the capital structure. So these are the certain factors I have listed it here. 3 factors are there. Let us say first factor is corporate strategy. So the top management takes decision what should be the equity and debt ratio so that proper control can be exercised. And also the top management takes decision how much risk one can take or an entity can take. What is the risk tolerable limit for the entity? Some let us say management they are let us say they voluntarily take more risk, and there are some managements they do not want to take any risk. So corporate strategy matters in deciding what is the debt, what should be the debt and equity combination. The nature of industry also affects. There are some industry which are capital intensive industries, some big industries. They need huge amount of capital. Just to start that business, you need more equity because at starting point, nobody will be willing to give debt to those entities. So if the nature of the industry is such that it needs huge capital intensive industry, then naturally we have to decide the capital structure, whether more debt is required or more capital is required, more equity is required, that one has to decide. Then current and past capital structure. So business faces certain cycles. So let us say at particular time business grows, at particular time we'll say business declines. So if the business is at pioneering stage, that means it is introduced in the market. In that case, what happens? The cost of capital is quite high. So in that stage, normally business houses, they rely more on equity. At the expansion stage, where business is growing, so they introduce more debt in the capital structure to avail financial leverage. That means to maximize their return. And when the business is at stagnation or stabilization stage, they reduce the financial leverage and save interest cost. That means they reduce debt and depend more on the equity. That means at the initial stage, business starts with equity, and as business grows, they introduce debt in the capital structure. And when the business is at the stagnation stage, then business again is run with the help of equity. Debts are repaid. So this is capital. This is how capital structure, or you can say business cycle, or the business cycle affects the capital structure. So these are certain factors which affect the capital structure: corporate strategy, nature of the industry, and current and past capital structure. Okay. If you talk about planning and designing of the capital structure, this means this is the preliminary activity, and the very preliminary activity is essential in for any entity, that they need to plan their capital structure so that value can be maximized. They can minimize the cost. So as early as incorporation stage, entities plan the capital structure. Accordingly, they decide what should be the authorized capital, how much capital they should issue, so that it will help them to have a planned capital structure. And one more purpose of learning this subject is to understand how to optimize the capital structure. So first we'll understand what is the meaning of optimizing the capital structure. All of us will try to optimize the capital structure of business entities. Optimizing capital structure means ensuring an optimal capital structure and securing the financial sources with the least cost. That means we'll design a capital structure in such a way that it is optimal. How it will be optimal? We'll be understanding various points on the basis of which we can decide whether capital structure is optimal or not. But at this stage, we'll understand. Optimal capital structure should have least cost. Cost should be less. Okay, least cost of capital, that is very important. For corporate entities, this cost is very important because through this they save money and they'll be able to maximize the growth of the business. Okay, so friends, I think at this stage we are in the position to understand first or answer these questions. First question is that in which situation this firm's capital structure and financial structure is same? Can anyone explain me? Is there any possibility that a firm's capital structure and financial structure is same?
No, sir. Only it can be
No,
same in the beginning of the farm.
No, as you told you, okay, you see, once again I will show you. You see, you have already seen this is the capital structure and this is the financial structure. If the company has no current liability, then financial structure, capital structure will be same. Is it not? And it's possible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, if there is no current liability, the financial structure, capital structure is same. That thing you should know. Okay, now whether that is good or bad, that depends. You have to see. When there is non-current liability, let us say it is not there, that means entire assets are financed through long-term liabilities. Okay, entire assets are financed through long-term liabilities. So in that case, what will happen? Okay, risk is less, but profit margin is also low. In that case, because cost of capital will be more. Cost of capital will be more, but risk is less. So you have to, keeping both the things in the mind, you have to decide whether it is good or bad for the company. How capital structure has impact on how past capital structure has an impact on present capital structure. That also you have to think. It depends upon capital structure. Many times they relates to the business cycle. That means history is important. Okay, in the pioneering stage, that is earlier stage, business might be using only equity. But when the business grows, even if earlier business was run only through equity, but when the business grows, it is always advisable to add some equity so that overall cost of capital can be less and profit can be more. Okay. Now, very quickly, we'll note down these 4 points which talk about features of optimal capital structure. This is important for us because ultimately we are trying to optimize our capital structure. Okay, 4 items are there. Subsequently, I'll be again explaining these points. One is profitability. Business entity always they try to maximize their profit. And maximization is profit is possible with the help of proper capital structure. So maximum use of leverage.
Sir, slide is not visible.
Is it not feasible for all or for only some of you?
No, sir,
Okay,
it's
sir, visible,
visible.
now visible.
Not visible. Okay. Okay. Now you see. So here what we are saying about that the capital structure is optimal only when it maximizes our profit. Profit maximization is possible when the cost of capital is less. And that will be possible when you are leveraging. Leveraging means using maximum debt because debt is less costly. Is it that? Have you remembered that mixer wala example?
Yes, sir.
He uses various items, right? He creates a combination of various items, but he knows that which item is less costly. He will always try to put maximum of that thing. Is it done? Okay. Is it done? Let us say total he has to deliver 100 grams. He will try to maximum. You will always try that you should put maximum of that item or that component which is cheap, so that overall cost can be minimum. So this concept is called as leveraging. Leveraging. That means using cheaper things in the place of costlier things. So as you know, in the context of capital, which is costly? Debt is costly or equity is costly?
Equity.
Equity is costly. So when we talk about leveraging, what we'll try? We'll try to use maximum debt and minimize the use of equity. Okay. So use maximum debt and minimize the use of equity. In that case, what will happen? Overall cost will be minimum. So that will increase profitability. Okay. So one feature is that you should maximize profitability, or if capital structure is maximizing profitability, that's a optimal capital structure. Second is flexibility. Flexibility means if you want, you can change the capital structure whenever you need. Right? Suppose debt is there. Good thing is that if you don't want capital now, you can repay it. But once you have issued equity, it is very difficult to repay that. It is very difficult to buy back the shares. So more equity means not flexible, but more debt means it is flexible. Control. Control aspect is important to know whether capital structure is optimal or not. So optimal capital structure should have minimum dilution of control. If you issue more and more equity, what will happen? More and more equity shareholders will be there. They'll participating in the management. So control will get diluted. Let us say today 100 shareholders are there. They are controlling the company. Tomorrow, let us say 500 shareholders will come. So control will be diluted. So optimal capital structure should try to minimize dilution of the capital. Then one more thing, solvency aspect should not be threatened. That if business takes excessive debt, then it will affect its solvency. Solvency risk will increase. There is possibility that business may become insolvent. If sufficient cash flows are not generated for any reason, then debt cannot be serviced. If debt is not serviced, the big business will become insolvent. So optimal capital structure should focus on profitability, flexibility, control, and solvency. These are the four aspects. Did you understand up to this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Or you can say optimal capital structure is the best debt equity ratio for a firm that maximizes its value. Optimal capital structure for a company is one that offers balance between ideal debt equity ratio, ideal debt equity range, and minimizes firm's cost of capital. What is optimal capital structure? Which minimizes the firm's capital cost of capital and gives us an ideal debt to equity ratio, so that it ensures profitability, flexibility, control, and solvency. This is our understanding about optimal capital structure. Okay, did you understand up to this? So next class, what we'll do, we'll be understanding how to design the optimal capital structure. I think up to this, it is clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we'll
Yes,
stop
sir.
here. Okay, we'll stop here, friends. Next class, we'll catch up with the designing of optical capital structure and some more issues we'll be definitely covering. Okay, any query you have?
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very, very much.